You are Locked On Warriors POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports San Francisco on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Locked On Warriors POSTCAST. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KMBR. And tonight, the Warriors squander a golden opportunity to gain ground on the rest of the Western Conference. And they fell to the Denver Nuggets despite Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Christian Braun all riding the bench tonight. But the Nuggets still had Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., and Russell Westbrook, all of which had huge games for the shorthanded Nuggets. Really, the story of tonight's game, sloppy play defining the loss tonight for the Warriors. They turned the ball over 20 times tonight. Steph with 7 of those all on his own and converted just 55% of their free throw attempts. This team rolled back the clock to a not great point in time this season pre-Jimmy Butler, and it looked bad, man. The sloppiest game that I have seen them play since acquiring Jimmy Butler, and this is as big of a missed opportunity as they've had all season long. We'll break it all down, but first, I want to thank all of you for watching us on the Locked On Sports San Francisco YouTube channel. Please, if you aren't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now. Thanks also for listening on the Locked On Warriors podcast feed. Make sure to check out the Locked On Warriors Daily Show for more in-depth coverage. And tonight, as I said, right from the jump, man, turnovers and missed free throws just completely defined this game. First quarter, Warriors turned the ball over 5 or 6 times just in that quarter alone, and it was just a sign of the series of unfortunate events to unfold for the Warriors as this game progressed. They also missed 6 free throws in that first quarter, just 1 for 7 from the line to start this game. And I mean, the Nuggets, they weren't really running away with it in that first quarter. They were letting the Warriors kind of hang around. The Warriors actually took a brief lead at the end of that first quarter, but that was all that they had the entire time. They had like that 1-point lead for a very, maybe a minute in that end of the first quarter. And from there, the Nuggets just rolled the victory, man. They had a double-digit lead for what seemed like the rest of the entire game, basically, since middle of the second quarter until about the middle of the fourth quarter when the Warriors tried their hardest to come back. And, man, they got within 3 points. But it just never really seemed like they could grab that momentum because every time that they had an opportunity to do something, Aaron Gordon was there with an answer. And Aaron Gordon tonight, man, was the best player on the floor. Not even close. This guy, 38 points. And let me tell you, that wasn't even the most impressive part of his game tonight. He had 5 offensive rebounds. I mean, he just absolutely manhandled the Warriors down low. He also had 3 assists. And then you look at what Michael Porter Jr. did. He had 21 points with a plus 20 plus minus. He added 10 boards and 5 assists of his own. And then you look at Russell Westbrook, who finished the night with a triple-double. This guy rolled back the clock too. Season high 16 assists, 11 rebounds, and 12 points. By the way, the 38 points for Aaron Gordon, the highest he scored this season as well. So 2 different guys on the Nuggets have the game of their season in order to pull this 9-point victory out for them. But this is inexcusable for the Warriors. I mean, this is more than a missed opportunity because you can look at this one of 2 ways, right? You look at the rest of the Western Conference. The Wolves lose tonight to the Pacers on a crazy Obi Toppin game-winning 3. Memphis loses to the Kings. Houston narrowly escapes losing to the 76ers, who just announced that Paul George is going to miss the rest of the year. I mean, it was not a good night for the favorites in the NBA. I think the Warriors had like an 87% chance, according to ESPN, to win this game. They were plus 11-point favorites, or minus 11-point favorites, rather. And they still lose this one. Terrible, terrible loss for the Warriors. And so you could look at this as a missed opportunity or the Warriors getting kind of bailed out by all these other teams losing. But for me, this is a missed opportunity, man, for a couple reasons. And first and foremost, you play in a team that doesn't have their 3 best players on their roster. No Christian Braun. You can make a case that Aaron Gordon is in that top 3 and you can push Christian Braun out. But for my money, Christian Braun, I got him on my fantasy team. I know how good this guy's been all season long. He missed tonight's game. Obviously, they're missing Nikola Jokic, multiple-time MVP, and Jamal Murray, who always seems to kind of kick it up a gear whenever he's playing Steph Curry. You play in a Denver Nuggets team without those 3 guys at home, you should win that game. And the Warriors absolutely did everything they could to lose this game tonight. And not to mention, the Warriors don't have the luxury that all these other teams that I just mentioned do, like Memphis, Houston, and maybe not the Timberwolves, but Memphis and Houston specifically, can afford to lose a couple games and still maintain a lead over the Warriors without really falling too far in the standings. But the Warriors, they cannot keep losing games like this. I mean, losing a game to the Sixers, losing this kind of game, you got to win those games. I know that I'm being nitpicky here because they've been so unbelievably hot lately. Hottest team in the NBA before this loss tonight. But when you lose a game like this, it's not a good feeling going back into that locker room. This is a game they should have won. If the Warriors even hit half of the free throws they missed, they probably win this game. If the Warriors turn the ball over, 4 or 5 less times, they probably win this game. If the Warriors don't give up all of those offensive rebounds, they probably win this game. The Denver Nuggets had 19 offensive rebounds tonight, 19 of them. I mean, it's points off turnovers, something the Warriors are usually pretty dang good at. They had 27 of them tonight. But guess what? The Nuggets had 24. They were right there neck and neck with the Warriors. And there were multiple points in time in this game where the Warriors just had another opportunity, had a second chance, and then they would just turn the ball over immediately. There was a big play early in the fourth quarter where Jimmy gets to the line. Not only did he miss both of his free throws at the line, but he ended up getting the offensive rebound, ball kicked out of bounds off of a Denver Nuggets player. And on the inbound, Draymond gets called for a foul. And I mean, that was just one of the most terrible sequences I have seen since they have acquired Jimmy Butler. I don't have the stat right in front of me, but I would bet all the money in my bank account that this is the most turnovers that the Warriors have had in a game since having Jimmy Butler. At least this was the one with the most sloppy turnovers that I've seen. How many full court passes are you going to try to throw that are just going to go right into the hands of a Denver Nuggets defender? Steph at the end of the game, waning minutes of that fourth quarter, throws a lob to Jonathan Kuminga. Just absolutely terrible decision. Kuminga was not ready for it. Steph tried to do the no-look one-handed lob. And I'm so sick and tired of seeing Steph throw one-handed passes. I know he's a great passer. I'm not going to sit here and harp on Curry too much, but the one-handed passes got to stop, man. They just got to stop. The one-handed passes are terrible, not just from Steph, but from this whole team. Sometimes it works out when you got Jimmy Butler down there playing wide receiver and he can just go up and moss somebody. But I am so sick and tired of seeing the Warriors try to thread the needle with a bounce pass in between two defenders that are running down the court with one hand at full speed. It's insane that they keep trying this over and over and over again. It's got to stop. The senseless turnovers are what cost the Warriors this game tonight. And I mean, the Denver Nuggets, they had 20 turnovers of their own. Aaron Gordon had 7 of them, and Russell Westbrook had 7 of them. That's 14 just between those two players. The Warriors really failed to capitalize on that. But you look at the Warriors' big three, the Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, and Steph Curry, and they had a combined, quick math here, 13 turnovers? That's terrible for those three players. Those are supposed to be the guys who are setting the tone for the rest of the team. If those guys are playing that sloppy, guess what? That's how you end up with 3 Guy Santos turnovers, 3 Jonathan Kuminga turnovers. Even Kevon Looney had a turnover tonight, man. Kevon is usually the last guy with turnovers on this team. Just about the only bright spot tonight for me was Gary Payton. He played a great game off the bench, 8 of 10 from the field, gave the Warriors a ton of effort on defense with 3 steals. The Warriors defense was overall pretty decent. Draymond, by the way, on defense tonight, 5 blocks and 3 steals. So it's a bright point, positive thing if you're looking for positives here, as we usually do. Quentin Post only played 8 minutes. This guy basically just got run off the floor. I don't know why they didn't go to Posty a little bit more in this one. I would have liked to see the Dutch master out there in the second half when the Warriors were just giving up offensive board after offensive board after offensive board. It's just not what you want to see from a team making a playoff push. But as I said, kind of got a little bit of, that bailed out aspect to this loss tonight because of all these other teams around them losing, especially the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves loss becomes huge, very big benefit for the Warriors, but it's also a missed opportunity for them to kind of put some distance between them and a team that's been, biting at their heels for the last couple weeks at this point. So The Warriors and the Wolves, who are, both two of the hottest teams in the NBA, lose. By the way, this is the 9th consecutive loss to Denver. That's the most consecutive losses to an opponent for the Warriors since Steve Kerr took over as head coach. Wow. That's a stat, man. That's a stat. So very, very, very sloppy game tonight for the Warriors. Just that's all there really is to say. We still got some more stuff to get into from tonight's game, player of the game, the turning point, and what you'll be talking about. That's all coming up next on the Locked On Warriors postcast. Today's show is sponsored by DoorDash. NBA fans, get ready. They swoosh, you save. Thanks to Dash Pass, every time a player drops 50 or more points in a game, you score a huge deal the next day. It's simple. When any player scores 50 or more in a game during the 2024-2025 NBA regular season, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order, up to $10 off the next day from noon to midnight. And here are a few ways you can take advantage of this deal. Maybe you're going for a game day feast. After one of those epic 50-point performances, you can celebrate by ordering wings, pizza, burgers, anything from your favorite spot delivered right to your door. Maybe you're like me, you're getting some late night cravings after doing the Locked On Warriors postcast, and you just got to stay up late, watch those highlights again to really drill into your head how many times the Warriors turned the ball over tonight. Maybe you just need a midnight comfort snack, you know what I mean? Some comfort food to wash down this terrible Warriors loss. Sign up for Dash Pass today and be ready to save. When any player scores 50 or more in a game, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order the next day, up to $10 off. Just use promo code NBA50 from noon to midnight after a 50-point game on eligible orders at participating merchants. Must have an active Dash Pass account. Terms apply. Visit DoorDash to learn more. Today's show is also sponsored by FanDuel. March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets. It's a lot of dollars, man. When your first $5 bet wins, that's $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories, and even who's cutting down the nets. Got my eye on a few underdogs this year. San Diego State, anyone? If you know me, you know I love my Big West hoops. Go San Diego State. And FanDuel makes it easy to back them with spreads, totals, and game props. With tournament games, everything is happening almost every single day. It's so much to bet on. There's always something exciting going on the FanDuel app. It's simple to use, and when I win, I get paid instantly, no waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. And today's show is also sponsored by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where the heck did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. It's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center, and you can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building that wealth. They got some surprising insights, man. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery, hence the DoorDash, you know what I mean? And now I budget smarter and save more. It's also very, very easy to manage your money with your when your money managing partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without any of the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. It's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNBA for half off your first year. Welcome back to the Locked On Warriors postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. And man, I'm just taking a brief look at the chat. Andrew the GOAT says the Nuggets have the Warriors number, sadly. And as I just said, they absolutely do. 9th consecutive loss to Denver. This one probably stings the most, considering, they didn't have any of their good players. I mean, you still had a couple good players out there. Michael Porter Jr. and Russell Westbrook and Aaron Gordon obviously showed us that there were some pretty dang good players tonight. But no Nikola Jokic you got to capitalize. Absolutely got to capitalize. And the Warriors showing us that they're, as Andrew the GOAT says, going back to the play-in going back to playing like a bad team again, and maybe falling back into the play-in if it weren't for the Timberwolves losing tonight to the Pacers. So the Warriors kind of bailed out with that. But, let's just get right to it. Let's get to tonight's player of the game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Player of the game tonight, I hate to give it to a Nugget, but it's got to go absolutely to Aaron Gordon. This guy was all over the place tonight. I mean, as we talked about earlier, 38 points, season high. He had 5 offensive rebounds that really hurt the Warriors. And he was 4 of 6 from three-point range. What wasn't this guy doing? Inside, outside, offensive boards, second chance points, rebounds, assists, and filling it up, of course, with 38 points. This guy, former Archbishop Midi guy, if you didn't know, Bay Area kid, loves killing the Warriors, apparently. So not a great night for the Warriors, but a great night for Aaron Gordon, the local Bay Area kid. But that's not what you'll be talking about tonight. So let's get into it, what you'll be talking about.
This is what you'll be talking about.
And what you'll be talking about is this is the single sloppiest game the Warriors have played since acquiring Jimmy Butler. I mean, 20 turnovers speaks for itself. But the visual of what was happening tonight might even be worse than just looking at the 20 turnover stat. One-handed passes that had no business being thrown down court all night long. The Warriors felt like as soon as they would come up with a turnover and get the ball away from the Nuggets, who had 20 turnovers of their own, the Warriors would just hand it right back to them by doing some boneheaded thing like, trying to thread the needle between 2 Nuggets defenders streaking down court with a full speed one-handed bounce pass. Like, stop doing that, for the love of God, please. Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Jimmy Butler combined for 13 turnovers. You're not going to win many games when those 3 guys are setting the tone with 13 turnovers. So the Warriors miss a golden opportunity because of these turnovers and because they missed a ton of free throws. Just 15 of 27 at the line. Are you kidding me? 55.6%. This is rolling the clock back to a really bad time in the season where the Warriors couldn't shoot very well, only 24% from three-point range, turned the ball over a lot, as we said, 20 turnovers, and couldn't knock down their free throws, 55.6% from the line tonight. Even had Jimmy Butler going like 0 from the line at multiple points in time tonight. Jimmy just 6 of 10 from the free throw line. That is not what we have come to expect from him. He did have 23 points to lead the Warriors, but definitely not Jimmy's best game as a Warrior. And so with that, let's get to tonight's turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
And the turning point comes with about 6 minutes left in that fourth quarter. The Warriors had a 3-point lead or 3-point deficit. They narrowed that Nuggets lead to just 3, and they were so close to snatching that momentum and running away with it at the end there, as we've seen them do so many times this season. But again, it was just the turnovers, the second chance points for the Nuggets, Aaron Gordon being an absolute beast. The Warriors had no answer for him, could not get it done. Draymond had a bunch of fouls called on him in tonight's game. I believe he finished the game with 5. And a lot of them came in he finished the game with 5. Exactly. Yes. And a lot of those were in the fourth quarter and the second half in general. And man, Draymond sitting out there arguing. We know he's always going to argue with the officials, but I would really like to see Draymond, when it's obviously a foul, just kind of accept it, walk away. We saw Jimmy kind of do that in this game as well. He had been grabbing a guy that he tried to set a screen on that was chasing Steph, and he kind of held him there for a second. And, it was right in front of the official. They called him for the foul. And Jimmy didn't say anything. He's like, yeah, okay, I know that's a foul. He just walked back to the other side of the court. And sometimes Draymond's just got to save that energy that he's expending on the official and use it on the court in a more productive way. Love Draymond Green. You can't change him. He's going to be who he's going to be. That's what I'd like to see, man. I know it's not going to happen, but man, if he could just channel some of that energy in a game like tonight, it would have been great. We did have a pretty cool Draymond moment where he stripped the ball on an inbounds play and then went coast to coast and just threw it down on the other end with a one-handed slam because no one decided to stop the ball. So that was a nice play from Draymond. But overall, tonight's game, just all about sloppiness and laziness on the offensive end of the floor for the Warriors. But again, so missed opportunity on one hand, and on the other hand, you kind of get bailed out because all these other teams lost in the West. Memphis loses to Sac, the Wolves lose to the Pacers, and Houston almost lost to the Sixers too. I know almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, but for this one tonight, it's a tough loss for the Warriors. They only have 14 more games left in the season after tonight's game. As we talked about, the Warriors are going to probably need to get to 48 or 49 wins in order to get into the 6th seed and maintain not falling down into the play-in tournament. So that means you got to win at least 9 of your remaining 14 games. So Warriors can only afford at most 5 more losses in my opinion, for the rest of the season. It's going to be right down to the wire, man. This season is going to be a tight one. The playoff race in the West is always close, but this season especially, it's going to come down, I think, honestly, to the last game of the regular season to see how it all shakes out. It's all the time we got for you guys today on the Locked On Warriors postcast. We will try to be coming to you live tomorrow night. We got some Stanford obligations. If you listen to the show, you know I talk all the time about my extracurriculars, and one of those is I'm an audio engineer for the Stanford basketball and football teams. So back up the audio engineer. Shout out to Nika Burrell, former producer for the Murph and Mac morning show as well. So I'm filling in for her tomorrow night at Stanford, and we will try to get back in time to do the postcast for tomorrow's game against the Milwaukee Bucks. We'll see how that all works out. Stanford and the NIT tomorrow. Go Trees, man. Let's go. Let's get it done. That's all the time we got for you guys tonight. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll see you next time. Peace.